Hello friends, welcome to your own YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe this channel for the latest updates and many useful videos. Friends, with fast retirements, the promotions are also fast. These days, scale 1 to scale 2 or scale 2 to scale 3 service period is reduced to 2 years in many banks. In such a short span of time, youngsters don't get much exposure, and in many cases I have seen officers spending 2 to 3 years in one seat only. In many worse cases which I know, new officers spend their initial crucial 1 to 2 years even in cash. Even I spent my first year immediately after joining in cash seat. And in many big branches, it's really tough to learn anything when you sit in the cash seat. So when officers like these, who didn't get much chance to work in different roles, often face difficulties when they are promoted as branch in charges or a new role like second man or advances is assigned to them. Officers fear to take charge of lone seat as they don't have that much exposure. Managers or officers become personally liable for any lapses of previous incumbent if they don't report matter in the joining report or in initial stage of their charge. Now here I present you your rescue points which you should take while taking charge or handling any particular seat, be it as a branch in charge, second man, admin officer or field officer. Or even if you are a clerk, then this video is very important for you because you will become officer one day and will be assigned a role in your branch. All bankers must watch this video carefully till last as you may face problems later in your career if you skip any point in this video. The first thing you should look when you take charge is the security items. The very first thing you should check is security items register. Check all checkbooks, FDRs, demand drafts. This security must tally with the system reports. If something is missing, you should immediately ask the previous officer and note it down. Next is cash balances. Physical cash is another important item. Ideally, you should check the opening cash. Also check ATM cash or any bait money. You should take ATM cash tally certificate from the previous officer also. Moving ahead, the first thing you should check whenever you enter a new branch is the GLB statement or balance sheet. You should check it head to head. You can easily figure out some discrepancies from GLB itself and ask the present incumbent. You can easily check the outstanding sundry entries, remittances, debit not receivable and suspense entries. If there is any outstanding in the sundries, you should immediately reverse it and note it down or ask the present officer. Friends, in one such branch as a second man, I have spent 2 days just reconciling the sundry entries. It's really difficult to reconcile sundry entries and that to old entries. At the time of quarterly or annual closing, you need to have all these accounts zero. So better take the sundry head very seriously at the time of joining. This point is most important. Friends, checking all loan files is not possible. So is there any shortcut? Yes, there is. Always check previous 1 year loan files. Check outgoing officer has signed all the loan files. You don't need to see files before that as inspection or audit must have taken place before that and auditors or inspectors must have audited the files earlier. You should carefully check the securities attached like LIC policies, FDRs, bonds or original land registry papers. Also check that sanction letters are duly signed by the incumbent. The best thing is to ask for RBI audit report or any inspection report. This is the shortest way you can check whether the discrepancy has been removed or not. Here I present you the checklist for advances. Note these points as you will need it for your whole banking career. The first one is, are all limits sanctioned under proper authority? You should verify the sanction letters and proposals regarding the sanction of limits by the appropriate authority. Next is, the advances which are sanctioned under discretionary powers have been duly reported to the next higher authority or not. You should verify the control register and office copies of the control returns. Next is, are the loans outstanding balances within the permissible drawing power or not? You should verify the stock statements and drawing power register and see for any discrepancies. Fourth is, are all the loan accounts classified properly? Verify all loan accounts that bear periodic asset classifications under authentications and backup register or returns containing approval from competent authorities maintained in the branch or not. Next is, are drawing powers adequately backed by assets or not? For this, you should carry out the inspection of the securities pledged or hypothecated to the bank as primary security. Well, it's not possible to check each and every security, but still you should check larger advances and smaller accounts should be checked randomly. You should verify the stocks hypothecated to the bank with latest stock statements. Next, check whether bank's name boards with emblem indicating the charge are prominently displayed or not. Before the previous in charge leaves, you should try to have a meetup with all important borrowers and discuss their unit's affairs or problems which they are facing. Next is the collateral security properly secured, that is, properly charged to the bank or not? For this, you should verify the original title deed or sale deed or lease deed with approved map in case of housing property, with the particulars recorded in the title deed register and connected papers. You should also verify the implementation of circular instructions relating to equitable mortgage. Friends, formalities relating to creation of equitable mortgage vary from one state or another, so you should seek your state's norms. Next is gold coins or ornaments. This is for branches which deals with gold related products. Gold coins must be checked and gold ornaments of the customers must be checked with the joint custodians and another staff officer. You should note down for any discrepancy you observe. Next is all keys of the branch. Keys of strong room, cash safe, main gate, grill, ATM room or any other safe present in the branch should be checked without fail. Mostly ATM's operations are outsourced in many banks right now, but still if operation of ATM is done by branch staff, then password of ATM should be properly handed over from previous incumbent. Next is duplicate keys. Friends, this is really important and I have seen many in charges and even second man don't even know where the duplicate keys of the branches are. Friends, sealed duplicate keys of the branch is generally present in another branch. You should arrange for withdrawal of duplicate keys for verification from neighboring branch. After verification, it should be released and redeposited. The fact of withdrawal should be duly recorded in the branch key register and advised to the controlling authority. The old set which is in use should be sealed and withdrawn keys must be put into use. Then comes furniture and fixture. Furniture and fixture of the branch should be checked and must be tallied with general ledger balances and also check the depreciation register. You should note that all entries exist in the register. Depreciation and reserve must tally with the GLB statement or balance sheet. Also take a broader look at items listed in the furniture fixture and check whether they are actually present in the branch or not. Next is FDRs opened but not printed. Take a note of FDRs that are opened but not printed. Make sure you got them signed by the outgoing incumbent. Next is the TDS challans properly filed. Take a look at quarterly TDS challans. Check whether they are filed or not, as income tax department imposes interest for non-filing. There is last date for filing quarterly TDS challans. Normally TDS returns is filed every 3 months and income tax department penalizes banks for non-filing or late filing. Hence, you should check whether the quarterly TDS challans are filed properly or not. Last date for filing is generally 15th of next month. That is, the TDS return for June quarter should be filed by 15th July. Then comes an important part, that is KYC compliance. Make sure that all accounts are KYC compliant. Most banks offer non-KYC compliant reports in their system. Take out that report and make all the known KYC compliants KYC compliant before you take charge. Next is registers to be checked. Friends, most banks have many important registers in the branch and you should check whether they are maintained or not, as this may create problem during inspections and audits. So some of the important registers are, the first one is complaint register, MDP register. This registers contain the monthly advances which you are doing. No dues register, OBC register, voucher register, cash register, sundry register, ATM register, furniture and fixture register, depreciation register. Then we have inventory movement register, the key movement register, NPA register, recovery register, stock register, loan security item register, office order register, insurance register, nomination register, 15G 15H register, and last but not the least we have title deed register. Now this one is really important because this is what most controlling offices will ask you on the call, that is NPA status. NPA accounts and return of accounts status should be reported in the joining report. Major NPA account should be on your tips and you should ask the previous in charge what strategies he used for recovery. By his views, you will come to know what strategies didn't work and you will start the recovery with some different strategies. Next is pending credit proposals. The pending credit proposals must be taken note of and action should be taken to initiate at the earliest. If proposals are large, then meeting with the parties is also a good idea. You may ask previous incumbent to have meeting with these parties and note down his reviews before taking the charge. Then comes claims with CGTMSE. Any claims pending with CGTMSE must be noted and necessary follow-up should be started. Then comes SARFAESI status. Any account in which SARFAESI has been initiated should be noted and status of such cases should be noted. Then comes the temporary OD running. All temporary OD must be adjusted within time period of incumbent. Reports should be generated of TODs and necessary action should be taken. Sometimes TODs are granted by incharges to oblige good customers generally to pass their checks in clearings. So when you see any OD, you should immediately ask outgoing incharge to initiate its closure. Then comes expired documents. Take out report of all expired documents during the period of outgoing incumbent and efforts should be made to renew all expired documents before taking the charge. Next is customer complaints. All pending customer complaints must be attended with utmost priority and outgoing incumbent should be asked to resolve the complaints which were generated during his tenure. Next is branch security items. All items related to branch security must be assessed like fire equipments, alarms, license of armed guard, CCTV, etc. Then comes vigilance or inspection reports. You should check the latest inspection or vigilance report and check whether proper reply or comments of outgoing incumbent has been taken or not. Check whether queries of inspection report have been removed or not. Go through the inspection report, audit report, statutory audit report, RBI inspection report and other audit reports if any. A glance of all audit reports and compliance submitted by the branch will give you a feedback of total branch. Then examine last 3-4 months sanctions, that is loan sanctions, very minutely. Last 3-4 months sanctions are to be examined minutely or say very carefully. Then comes mortgage with CERSAI or revenue authorities. Check whether a registration of equitable mortgage with CERSAI or revenue authorities have been done or not by the outgoing incumbent. Now we come to the miscellaneous points. The first one is, sometimes insurance register is not updated and assets charged to the bank whether as principal security or as collateral are not insured for full value. So friends, you should check this point very carefully. Next is, for larger amount loans, say above rupees 10 lakhs, check whether first stage vetting and second stage vetting is done or not. If not, then get it done sooner. Next, you should check whether bank guarantee issued are duly signed by two officials jointly or not, one of whom must be branch manager or second man. Next, have a look whether certified copies of the title deed offered as security is obtained from the sub-registrar office or not, and the same is compared with the original documents deposited for creating mortgage by the bank lawyer or bank officials. Next, you should check and note the emergency arrangements to be followed in event of sudden incapacitation of branch manager. The protective and security arrangements, including fire protective systems, locking up arrangements, police patrolling, emergency alarm bells, and lights should be adequate. Lastly, scrutinize staff accounts for high value transactions and examine salary slip of employees or officials in context of extraordinary high level of deductions and very low take home, and initiate necessary steps if required with a view of safeguarding the interest of the concerned employees or officers as well as institution. At last, the debit entries in the income head of the branch should be verified properly. For any big debit, proper question should be raised. So friends, when I took charge of the branch, I had no such checklist. In fact, when you enter a branch to take charge or taking any important seat, you are a lone man. There is no one to help you. With so much workload, no one from regional office or even your colleagues will tell you each and every minute points. I too face this. Anyone you ask, they will tell you, oh, just check the loan files, etc. and etc. But there are many important things which no one tells. Hence, I made this video for the whole banking community who are either going to take charge of any important seat or your branch, or as branch in charge, second man, admin officer or field officer. This video is in fact for whole banking community and also for clericals who want to accomplish great heights. Though I have tried to cover each and every aspect before someone takes charge of a branch or seat, but still suggestions of experienced folks are appreciated and may guide newly appointed branch in charges. Please put your comments and input in the comments below. Also share this video as far as possible. Also don't forget to like and subscribe this channel by hitting red button below this video. This will motivate me to make more helpful videos in future, and you will also not miss any important video in future. Thank you.